Hi everybody, this is Caitlin again with another family recipe. Today we're going to be making rice pudding. And it's really simple. Three main steps to making rice pudding. First is cooking the rice completely as a base, then mixing up the sweetening ingredients, then finally putting on some optional toppings. So the first thing that we're going to do is cook our rice. My grandmother swears by using jasmine rice. She likes it because she thinks it makes it a lot creamier because it isn't instant rice, and it actually is pretty flavorful too. So it's a pretty good rice for desserts like this. And what we do is we cook the rice per package instructions. We're going to be making a very small batch today, so we're only going to be making 2 cups worth. And per package instructions, that's just a half cup of the rice that we're going to be cooking. And we want to make sure that we cook it with our butter as well. So the first thing that we're going to do to cook the rice is bring 3/4 of a cup of water to boil. We're using this amount for the amount of rice pudding that we're going to make, which again is only about 2 cups. Next thing that we're going to do is while the water is coming to a boil, add 1 tablespoon of butter to the water so that it melts directly in. So once your water and your butter come to a boil, what you're going to do is add your rice. Again, this is a half cup of dry rice, so you're making 2 cups of rice pudding. So we'll add that in, immediately stir it just to make sure it's evenly distributed. And then it's very important that, so this doesn't burn, we bring the temperature down to low, put the lid on, and then put the timer on for 15 minutes. This is going to cook for 15 minutes. So next we're going to be making the mixture that we pour over the cooked rice. So we're going to be mixing together half and half eggs and sugar. So for this amount, we're going to be using 2 eggs. So we're going to whisk those first. Oops. And then what we're going to be doing is adding in our 3/4 of a cup of sugar. The next thing we're going to be doing is putting in the half and half. So this is something that's probably going to take some taste tests, but what you're going to do is just put in at first just about 1/4 of a cup in. You whisk that in, and then depending on how creamy that is, you might want to add more in. So our rice has cooked. We've taken it off the stove and we've taken a little sample. We know it's very soft, there's no crunchy bits to it. So the next thing that we're going to do is pour our mixture that we just made over it and then stir it in. One thing to note with this is that we want to make sure that this is whisked very well together. We don't want any egg clumps in it at all. That is incredibly important for this. Take that and we're going to mix it together. So this isn't an exact science. We are making a much smaller batch than what we usually do. We usually have a very large family. We make a big batch for that, but not everybody's here today, so we're making a smaller one. And because of that, if you're following along with our measurements, the mixture that we made was a little bit too much for the amount of rice that we cooked. So we're just cooking a little bit more rice to absorb all of that sweet mixture that we put together before. So we've added some more rice to our mixture. We're going to put it back on the stove at medium heat, and we're just going to heat it so it cooks all the way through, specifically the egg, because we don't want raw eggs in our pudding. So now that we cooked it through, next you want to top it with things that you might like. You don't need to, it's good on its own, but some people like to put raisins in it, and what we like to do is just put a little teeny tiny dash of nutmeg on top. And there you go, that's it. So Grandma, let me know how it tastes. I followed your recipe.
Very good, honey.
It's really good. It was a little difficult just because I had to make a lot smaller batch than what you had. I know you're used to making much larger batches, and your family is too. Like, how large was your family when you guys made these?
Well, there were 8 children. My parents were 10 of us all together.
Oh wow, 10 people?
Mm-hmm.
One household?
Yes.
And how much, your dad was from a large family too, right?
Yeah.
Down in southeast Ohio?
Yeah, he had 7 sisters. And, I think 4 brothers. And 4 brothers.
Wow.
No, 3 brothers. There are 11 of them. 11 children. And 2 parents.
Wow.
So there were 13 total in that family.
Yeah. And they're from Gallipolis, Ohio?
Yes, yes.
And you spent a lot of time there as well, right?
All my summers from the time I was 6 to the time I was 13. I had to work on the farm down there. We raised tomatoes for Huntington, West Virginia market. And we spent all of our time, summertime, working on the farm.
So what did you do on the farm?
I hoed. I tied tomatoes. I suckered tomatoes. That means you take some of the part of the plant out so it grows better.
Okay.
Chop the tomatoes so that different intervals, and then we pack the for market. He had to hire somebody to take him to market because he didn't drive. My grandfather didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make sure that all the tomatoes were packed up in baskets, cleaned, put baskets for market. And so one whole day we just picked tomatoes and clean them and pack them.
Gotcha. That's a lot. Sounds like a lot of hard work.
It's
How
very-
old were you when you did that?
I started at age 6. He's 6 to 13.
Wow.
And I was little. The baskets would drag the ground when I carried them out of the field. That's how small I was.
Wow.
It was hard work for a little kid, especially.
Wow. But you've got a lot of good experience out of it. Did you enjoy your time down there?
Yeah, my grandparents, yeah, they were very nice. We didn't have much time to play, only maybe on Saturdays. But basically, it was just hard work. We were almost like child labor. That was true.
Yeah. I think a lot of families down there.
But that was not unusual.
Yes, it wasn't unusual.
No, it wasn't unusual for that time.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit of your
Yes.
story, and thank you for sharing your recipes with me as well.
You're welcome, honey. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy our recipes. We'll be making some more in the future, and feel free to subscribe and like our video. Thank you.